we're now going to start in on petty cash in this chapter. There are several different cash concepts. Your homework problems involves a petty cash and also a bank reconciliation. So on this video, we're going to look at the petty cash system. Now, if you're in a business, oftentimes they like to write checks out. They don't like to use cash, but there are times when you need to have at least a little bit of cash on hand in case you need cash to buy stamps or cash to pay for the pizza delivery or something within the business that they won't allow a check for, if someone has to run to the supply store really quickly to pick something up that we've run out of. So if you're going to be establishing a brand new petty cash account, the journal entry to do that would be to debit petty cash, and let's say we're establishing a $100 petty cash fund, and we've given this responsibility to Mike. So Mike is in charge of the petty cash fund. So Mike will go down to the bank and he will cash a check. So this credit for $100 is for Mike to cash the check. And then what we do in accounting is we put it into a petty cash fund. It's just an account. It's a cash account. So all we're doing is moving it from one cash, our checking account, to a separate petty cash fund, a separate account, so we can monitor it separately. Now, let's say that during this week, that two people come and take some money out. They usually sign a little IOU. They get some money out. And so let's say one person came and they got $20 for postage. So I'm going to put right here a postage receipt. And they brought the receipt back and it was for $20. Let's say another person, there was a delivery and we had to pay when the delivery man came. Let's say this delivery was for $60. Okay, so we have $20 and $60 receipt. So looking at this, we started our petty cash fund with $100. So this was to establish the petty cash fund. Now, how much cash should we have in here? Well, looking at this, 20, 60, there's 80. So we should have $20 left in there. Let's say that there was some sort of mistake and somehow there's only $19 left in the petty cash fund. This happens very frequently. Who knows why? Probably because these people that are in charge of the petty cash fund are not accountants and they don't really monitor it super carefully, and sometimes we're missing 25 cents, 50 cents, a dollar here, a dollar there. It's usually not big dollar amounts, but it's usually not in balance just because they're not accountants. So let's say that there's only $19 left. So now the petty cashier sees there's only $19 left and he says, you know, I need to go to the accounting department and refill this petty cash fund. So he goes to the accounting department and he shows them, here's this receipt for 20, here's this receipt for 60, and how much money does he need to replenish his fund? Well, he needs to get it back up to $100. So he only has 19, so he needs $81. Well, the accounting department sees that he's not in balance, but for them to replenish the fund, they're going to have to record that we're short $1. So now to replenish the fund, this is what the accounting department's going to do. They only do this entry when the petty cashier comes to them because they know, well, they don't know, they don't have the receipts till the petty cashier comes to them. Okay, so when the petty cashier gets these two receipts, the accounting department, they have no idea that this has happened. They don't know until Mike brings it to them. So what they're going to do is they have two expenses here, right? So we'll say a postage expense for $20, and we'll call this a delivery expense, a delivery charge, a delivery expense for $60. Now I'm going to leave a little blank space here because there's an account called cash over short, and we need to put that in there, but I'm going to leave a little blank space because I like to do it this way. I like to record our expenses from the receipts that are taken to the accounting department, and then I like to record the cash account, and you'll see why I do this. How much cash do we need? We have 19, we need $81 to get it back up to 100. So over here, the accounting department will cut a check for $81. So that's why it's a credit. It's going to reduce our cash account. So that $81 will reduce it. Well, you can see this journal entry is not in balance. It's got to be in balance. We have $80 here. We have $81 here. So what do we need? We need one more dollar right there. We knew that because we knew we were short a dollar. So the account is called cash/short. In this case, we're short. So this dollar, since we're short, that's like an expense. So that's why we're debiting it, because it is. It's an expense. We lost the dollar. Somehow we're a dollar short. Okay? Now, what would happen if it were a little bit different? Let's say the same information, except, and we should have $20, but let's say at the end somehow we had 22. Believe it or not, that happens sometimes. Sometimes it's over, not very often, but occasionally it's over. And who knows why? Because they'll have the receipts here. And we can see that we should only have $20 in there, but somehow something went wrong and there's $22. So in this case, we are over. So let's take a look at the journal entry based off of this scenario. What would happen is we would still have our receipt for postage, so there's our postage expense. We still have our receipt for delivery, so there's our delivery expense. How much cash do we need? Well, in this case, we need $78 to get up to our 100. So that would be 78. Okay, we're not in balance. We've got $80 of debits, $78 of credits, so we need $2 over here. We're over $2. So we still use the same account. It's called cash over short. Doesn't matter if it's over or short, we just call it that name. In this case, it's a credit, so it's similar to a revenue because we were over. So there's kind of $2 extra left over. It's not usually very much money, okay? So this is how we establish the petty cash fund, and then we don't touch. Notice that we don't touch that petty cash account ever again, okay? Whenever we're replenishing it, I should say. We don't touch it. We just increase the account back up to its normal balance when it goes time to replenish the fund, okay? Let me erase this entry right now. Let's say Mike is tired. Mike is tired of going every few days to the accounting department to get his fund replenished. Let's say he talks to the accounting people and he says, you know what, I need more money. $100 isn't enough because every couple of days I've got to come back and replenish my fund. So let's say the accounting department says, well, why don't we increase it to 250? And Mike agrees. So what would happen is we've already put $100 in there. So he's got this. So now to increasing the fund, you have to increase it by 150. So it's the same journal entry. We would debit petty cash to increase his petty cash balance to 250. And then the accounting department is going to write him a check. And so that's why we're crediting cash, because they're going to write a check, take it out of the checking account, give it to Mike, and they call that the petty cash fund. That's Mike's account for now. Okay? If they ever wanted to decrease petty cash, you can. If you decrease petty cash, you have to flip this. So let's say later they decide to decrease it by $50. Well, what would happen is Mike would bring $50 back to the accounting department. He'd actually give them $50, and then the accounting department would debit cash because they're going to redeposit it in their checking account, and they're going to decrease Mike's petty cash fund. Okay? So here would be increasing the petty cash fund, here would be decreasing the petty cash fund. I think that all makes perfect sense, hopefully. So, good luck with your petty cash problem. Once again, the B problem is out there, and also the demonstration problems. And on the next video for this chapter, I'm going to go over the bank reconciliation, which is a little bit tricky. So make sure that you read the chapter and look at the PowerPoint presentations regarding reconciliations and the petty cash. They're very helpful. Good luck.